Step into a kitchen where every corner hides a surprise. A drawer just for sugar, smooth and shiny. A ceiling of tin above, glinting in the morning light. The Hoosier cabinet waits, filled with flour, rolling pins, and tiny spice jars. Wall-mounted spice racks line the walls, each labeled perfectly. The porcelain sink gleams, cold and solid, ready for daily chores. An icebox hums quietly in the corner, storing milk and butter. Every detail, sliding drawers, enamel glints, the smell of fresh bread, sparks instant memory. These kitchens were alive, full of small magic we forgot but instantly recognized. The moment you stepped into a 1950s kitchen, your eyes were drawn to the cabinets. They weren't just storage, they were little worlds of order and promise. Built-in flour bins sat tucked into corners, their smooth wooden lids lifting to release a cloud of soft, powdery scent. You could almost feel the fine grains slipping through your fingers, ready to become cookies, bread, or pie crust. Beside them, pull-out spice drawers lined the walls, each tiny jar nestled in its perfect slot, colorful labels catching the light as you slid them open and closed. Roll-out pantry shelves made every ingredient reachable. One swift pull revealed neatly stacked cans, jars, and boxes, all organized with quiet care. There was a satisfying resistance as the shelves glided back into place, the smooth motion giving a sense of completeness, like a small ritual repeated daily. The bread box, often gleaming in polished metal or enamel, waited patiently to cradle the day's loaf, keeping it soft and warm. Some homes had tin bread drawers, hidden in the cabinetry, sliding silently as if by magic, the scent of fresh-baked bread spilling into the room. Sliding tray cabinets added another layer of charm. With a gentle push, a hidden tray emerged, offering space for tools, ingredients, or the occasional kitchen note tucked away by Mom. Each drawer, shelf, and compartment invited touch and movement, the physicality making the kitchen feel alive. There was joy in opening, pulling, sliding, and closing, in the subtle creak of wood and the soft clink of glass jars. Every action connected the cook to the space, to the rhythm of daily life, to memories that would linger long after the kitchen itself was gone. The Hoosier cabinet was nothing short of magical. It wasn't just furniture, at just the right angle, so the right knife was always there when you needed it, the metal edges catching a brief flash of sunlight. Everything was arranged for speed, for ease, for the rhythm of daily cooking. Even the recipe card holder was clever, tucked into the side or top, ready for your mother's handwritten favorites. You could glance at instructions without fumbling with loose papers, flipping each card like a secret guide. Every function was integrated, every surface purposeful. Opening the Hoosier felt like stepping into a small world where nothing was out of place and everything waited for you. Flour always at your fingertips, spices just a slide away, knives ready to dance across the cutting board. This cabinet made cooking feel effortless, almost playful. It wasn't just storage, it was an experience, a daily ritual wrapped in wood, metal, and enamel. Memories of it linger in the touch of drawers, the scent of flour, the soft clink of spice jars, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing the kitchen was entirely under your command. The kitchen came alive when the coal or wood stove was lit. A low rumble, the hiss of steam, and the gentle crackle of burning wood filled the room. The stove's black enamel surface reflected the warm glow of coals as pots and kettles clanged softly, each sound marking the rhythm of cooking. The air smelled faintly of smoke and sweet dough rising in the oven, a mix that instantly made the space feel alive and comforting. Every burner had a purpose, every flap and vent a secret control over heat and timing, and learning them was part of daily life. On the counter, a manual coffee percolator bubbled quietly, sending the rich aroma of fresh coffee curling through the kitchen. The hiss and gurgle were like a morning song, signaling the start of the day. Milk jugs and sugar bowls waited nearby, ready for a hand-poured cup, while the scent of brewing coffee mingled with the faint smoke from the stove, creating a heady, familiar blend. Meat locker drawers kept perishables cool and safe, sliding out with a satisfying smoothness. Cold and solid under your hands, they smelled faintly of cured meats and the faint tang of ice, a reminder of the labor that went into keeping a family fed. Nearby, the countertop grain mill awaited. You cranked the handle slowly, the metal gears whirring as wheat, corn, or oats transformed into flour. Together they turned the kitchen into a stage for daily life, a place of motion, sound, and scent that is almost impossible to forget. Kitchens in the 1950s were full of clever built-ins designed to make life smoother, almost like secret assistants tucked into the cabinetry. Open a cupboard, and a built-in dish drying rack slid forward, holding plates upright as they glistened with water, ready to be put away. The metal bars caught the sunlight, the soft drip of water a tiny, satisfying rhythm that marked the pace of chores. It wasn't just functional, it was quietly mesmerizing, a simple system that kept everything orderly without thinking. Nearby, built-in egg boilers promised perfectly cooked eggs every morning. You placed the eggs carefully, turned a knob, and the faint hiss of boiling water signaled progress. There was a kind of quiet anticipation, waiting for the pop or click that meant breakfast was ready. Even small hands could feel the magic of it, the simple precision of a tool built into the kitchen itself. A built-in pastry board was another unsung hero. It slid out at just the right height, the wood smooth under your hands, the edges dusted with flour. Rolling dough became a ritual, every push and turn connecting you to decades of kitchen tradition. Flour sifters and sugar sifters were tucked into their own compartments, ready to sprinkle, dust, or measure with a single slide or flip. The soft clink of tin, the whisper of powder falling, the tactile motion of scooping and sifting. These details made ordinary tasks feel purposeful and satisfying. Even rolling pins had a home, built right into the cabinetry. Pull it out, and it was ready for dough, then slide it back, neatly stored and out of the way. Every built-in felt like an extension of the cook's hands, making the kitchen feel effortless and alive. Simple movements, sliding, popping, pouring, turning. They were small moments of daily magic that vanished when modern kitchens replaced them with countertops and drawers. But for anyone who remembers, those built-ins weren't just practical. They were little delights, quietly shaping the rhythm and joy of cooking. The magic of a 1950s kitchen often hid in the smallest spaces, tiny drawers and nooks that promised perfect order. Slide open a pull-out cutting board with built-in knife slots, and everything was at your fingertips. Knives stood upright, gleaming under the soft kitchen light, ready for slicing bread, chopping vegetables, or carving a roast. There was something satisfying about the way each knife fit snugly in its place, a silent promise that cooking could be smooth, organized, and even a little elegant. Nearby, built-in utensil divider drawers transformed chaos into calm. Wooden spoons, spatulas, ladles, and tongs each had a home, sliding effortlessly into slots carved just for them. The simple motion of opening a drawer and seeing every tool lined up in perfect rows gave a sense of control and quiet joy, a tactile reward for the daily rhythm of cooking. For sweet moments, the biscuit cutter drawer was a tiny wonder. Tin or wooden cutters, stacked and waiting, slid forward with a soft click. Pull one out, press into dough, and the shapes emerged clean and precise. It was a small, almost secret delight, the kind of memory that lingers long after the biscuits are baked. Slide-out spice racks added a burst of color and scent. Tiny jars lined up like soldiers, labels facing outward, waiting for the pinch of cinnamon, the dash of paprika, or the sprinkle of dried herbs. The soft rattle of jars as you slid the rack back into place, the smell that lingered in the air, the tiny thrill of order in a kitchen that otherwise buzzed with activity. These little nooks were pure sensory delight. Even the built-in sugar bin niche carried its own charm. Reach in, scoop the perfect amount, and close the lid with a soft thud. Everything had its home, and everything fit just right. These specialty drawers and nooks weren't just practical. They created a rhythm, a choreography, a quiet satisfaction. They reminded you that a kitchen wasn't just a room. It was a carefully designed space where every tool, every ingredient, every tiny motion mattered. Walls in a 1950s kitchen were never just walls. They were alive with function and small delights. A wall-mounted spice rack could transform a plain space into a rainbow of tiny jars, each labeled and lined up like a miniature city. A quick reach, a twist, and a dash of paprika or cinnamon landed perfectly in your pot. the soft clink of glass again with a flick of the wrist. Ladle hooks kept big spoons, slotted spoons, and soup ladles hanging in perfect rows. Arms reached up, grabbed one, and it felt natural, almost effortless. The same went for wall-mounted rolling pin hooks, holding the weight of wooden pins, always ready to roll out dough without cluttering the counters. Each wall was a stage for quick, satisfying actions: grab, hang, measure, pop, slide, and every movement reinforced the sense of order. These wall wonders weren't just clever, they created a kinetic rhythm in the kitchen. Hands moved swiftly, eyes tracked jars and hooks, and the room hummed with small, purposeful motions. Every reach and lift became part of a choreographed dance, a sensory memory that lingered long after the ovens cooled and the dishes were done. In these simple, mounted helpers, the walls themselves felt alive, silently organizing, guiding, and delighting. Countertops in the 1950s were more than just surfaces. They were stages for daily rituals, places where tools and memories came alive. An enamel coffee pot often sat proudly on the counter, its glossy surface catching morning light, steam curling up as the first drops of strong, dark coffee promised warmth and alertness. The metallic clink when lifting the lid, the rich smell filling the room, and the steady drip into waiting cups made mornings feel ceremonial. Next to it, a countertop soapstone slab waited patiently, cool and smooth under flour-dusted hands. Dough pressed and rolled across it, leaving traces of effort and anticipation, while the stone absorbed warmth and retained just the right chill to keep butter from melting too fast. It was tactile magic, every touch connecting the cook to the rhythm of the kitchen. A countertop flour bin, often with a snug lid, invited small hands to dip in, sift, and pour. There was the smell of fresh, slightly sweet flour, the soft powder sticking to fingers, the delight of scooping just the right amount. Nearby, a grain storage bin held kernels for grinding or quick recipes, the coarse texture a reminder of how meals began from the simplest ingredients. Turning the crank of a small countertop grain mill, feeling the resistance give way, and hearing the grain whisper into the collection bowl was a quiet, satisfying reward. Even novelty items made countertops magical. A popcorn maker attachment might perch on the edge, ready for a quick treat. Memory makers, quietly holding the magic of daily rituals in every scratch, shimmer, and smell. Cialo, gar, and butter had their own little thrones. A butterbell or crock held cold, creamy butter, always ready to spread on warm bread. Lifting the lid revealed that smooth, pale yellow richness, cool against fingers but soft enough to glide across toast, the aroma faintly sweet and comforting. Beside it, a sugar bin sat quietly, often built into a drawer or countertop nook, its lid revealing sparkling white crystals that caught the morning light. Scooping a handful, hearing the gentle clink, feeling the granules slip through fingers, it was a small, joyful ritual, a moment of tactile delight, a tiny pause in the rush of a busy morning. Milk had its place too. A milk cooler drawer, tucked just low enough for easy reach, held chilled bottles in perfect order. Opening it released a faint, creamy scent, cold air brushing your hands, and the anticipation of pouring milk into cereal, coffee, or batter. Some kitchens even had countertop butter coolers, small niches designed to keep butter at just the right firmness. Reaching into that tiny space, your fingers brushing the smooth butter, made simple breakfast preparation feel almost ceremonial, a quiet moment of care and comfort before the day truly began. For families who churned their own butter, the butter churn niche was a quiet hero. A built-in slot in the cabinet held the churn in place, steady as the handle turned. You could feel the resistance give way, hear the rhythmic splashes inside, smell the sweet, rich cream transforming slowly into fresh butter. These tiny storage solutions weren't just practical, they were sensory anchors. Cold, creamy, sweet, and satisfying, they turned everyday ingredients into touchable, smellable, tasteable memories that lingered long after the toast was gone, a lasting echo of home and warmth. Cialo bread and baking were at the center of daily life, both practical and comforting. The bread box sat proudly on the counter, a simple wooden or metal home for loaves that smelled of warmth and home. Lifting its lid released a faint, yeasty aroma that mingled with the morning air, soft crusts pressing against fingers, begging to be sliced. Some homes had tin bread drawers built right into the cabinets, smooth and cool to the touch, where loaves rested neatly in rows. Reaching for a loaf, feeling its weight, so those who baked often, built-in bread slicers were a small miracle of efficiency. Sliding a knife through a freshly baked loaf produced uniform slices, the sound a satisfying, crisp whisper of routine. Nearby, a bread-proofing drawer offered a quiet nook where dough could rise, warm and protected, slowly expanding until it filled the senses with promise. Kneading dough, hearing the gentle slap against the counter, feeling it soften and stretch under your hands, was a tactile rhythm that echoed through kitchens across the country. Knead, slice, store, repeat, each step a familiar, comforting beat. As we step back from the magic of these kitchens, let your mind wander. Remember the butter bell, the slide-out chopping board, the built-in bread slicer, the rolling dough board, the spice carousel, the countertop coffee grinder, the pull-out cookie sheet rack, the jar lifter, the pot lid organizer, and that trusty wall-mounted egg beater. Each one sparked small, unforgettable moments, simple joys that shaped our mornings and afternoons. Share your favorite memory in the comments, and let's celebrate the kitchens that raised us, full of hidden wonders, familiar smells, tactile pleasures, and quiet magic we carry with us every day.